Hello and welcome to the forecourttech podcast. And for this first edition, I'm really pleased to welcome Christian Warning from forecourttech. Now, Christian, I know that many people listening to this will know you as the conference chair for forecourttech, but you also do so many other things as well. Just tell us a little bit about what you're working on at the moment.
Yeah, Rolf, thanks for having me. So I worked 13 years with Shell in different management functions. I was responsible for the so-called non-fuels retail business in Germany of Shell and was the marketing head as well as branding communication. So I'm coming from that marketing direction. And I was always in retail and always had connection with tech, of course. This is why I'm very pleased to work together with Stephen on forecourttech and use that platform in the best interest for this industry and bringing the relevant people together.
Well, I mean, you mentioned Shell, so I have to ask, what change have you seen within the industry during your time?
I started 1989, so at that time, convenience retail was so the brand for Shell, Select brand, was founded at that time. We installed the first walk-in coolers in the shops, and we had always kind of new ideas to put friction out of the process and the customer journey. So I was indeed in charge of the first pay at pump project as an express lane on forecourts. Yeah. Sometimes you may think it was too early. That one was already 25 years ago, and we didn't roll it out at that time because the customer demand was what we listened in here to the market research, but sometimes you ask people what they want and you get an answer, and if you provide it, the people say, but I like to go to the shop as well. So they like the full offer and customer journey. So, but that's typically with tech, and as a retailer, I think it's a constant circle of listen to your customers, listen to your partners, frontline people, and then learn, create, make or buy, do and deliver. And that's the constant retail circle. This is what I've learned in those 30 years of being in retail.
I think it was Steve Jobs, I'm probably misquoting him, who famously said customers don't really know what they want. Although I think if you don't stay close to the trends, you're definitely making a mistake. In terms of the technologies that you've seen, so you mentioned payment technologies there. What I always ask this question, and past, present, and future. So when you look at the past, what do you think in terms of technology perhaps should have taken off and didn't? Or maybe it was the opposite. You thought, I mean, maybe you were like Bill Gates and thought the internet wouldn't take off, and then, or the web, should I say, for technical purists, but it did. Is there anything from the past that you think, that was a really interesting project, but it just never saw the light of day?
That's a tough question, you know that. But maybe what comes top of mind is that my father used to work with IBM his whole life, and when his colleagues started SAP, they said, software, not really necessary. We're the biggest hardware company in the world. Yeah. So we do not go to the software guys. Yeah. And look what they have done and achieved. Billionaires. Yeah. So that development and having at home one of the first PCs, and the quotes that PC would never work, or the quotes of I think Steve Ballmer was it, and tool like an iPhone would never work. People won't use it. Yeah? I think the most positive one and was really the iPhone. That changed all our lives.
Well, just to dig a bit more, so there's a lot of talk right now about AI, for example, and I know you've just been to UNITI Expo, so we're going to talk a little bit about what you thought about what you saw. Certainly in my world, AI, it's not a new thing, but I think in the past year, 18 months, it's much more accessible. And so people are starting to see it creep in I think also if you're trying to raise money, if you're a tech startup, it's a good idea to have a little bit of AI in there. I wondered, what did you see at Unity, and what do you think of the whole AI revolution?
Being a consultant with my core business with the Retail Marketeers, I would say I will be obsolete. Many things if I use now the new AI tools when it comes to first inquiries, or get even very fast some visuals of a new kind of juicy bar inside your shop, or that's within seconds, which has given agencies a lot of money in the past. Yeah. So although you still have to know what you're asking for and what you're expecting, so I think the expert is hopefully still needed in addition to AI, and but that will help a lot in every processes of life. Yeah? And I think in the payment area, this is something I saw for the first time in my life in a pilot from Circle K in Hong Kong, together with Dan Munford on a market focus tour with him, and in connection to the next Convenience Summit Asia in Shanghai. And in Hong Kong, they tested an AI-based payment solution for self-scan, self-checkout, if you so want, without the scanning process. You just put 2-3 articles, and AI recognize it immediately. And it's everything. It's not the biggest game changer, but Circle K is now rolling out with Meshkin. They have that technology in the US and the Nordics on 9,000 plus sites. Sometimes you see everything now which is tech, it has got a kind of buzzwords of AI. Is number plate recognition really AI? Yeah? Biometric, facial recognition, pay by face, those things, they are around, they're existing, but regulation in some countries does not allow this technique, which could make the life easier. Yeah? And so, yeah. And then at the Unity Expo, I would say really this year, for the first time ever, that you really had that the feeling that industry is making a frog leap. Yeah. So when 2 years ago, 4 years ago, there were maybe some pilots and tests with smart stores, smart vending, those things. They are now everywhere. Everybody is doing it. Everybody has come pilots. They're keen to learn. They're keen to get better. They're keen to understand what other retailers, specialty retailers, are doing, because the consumer, if they know from the weekly routine with grocery shoppers to use a certain technology, of course, why they have an expectation to have that as the daily convenience routine as well. And then with programmatic advertising and AI, we will get the right message once we're there, because we are in the target group and have that mission. And AI can recognize what mission I'm in. Yeah? Do I park and just jump out in the morning? I may just want to have a coffee and do not want to queue up for a coffee. If I'm a loyal customer, they already recognize me and maybe ask me 5 minutes before I am at my loyal gas station, how and when I want to have my coffee, and that they have a special offer today and give me a croissant on top or something. Yeah. So that's heavily, and that's coming into your car systems, that's coming on your mobile, of course. Any aspect of our industry at Unity Expo, there was not a single supplier, I would say, and at the booth where was not tech involved.
There were over 18,000 people in Stuttgart. It's also a conference that happens every 2 years. It's not every year. So that's also kind of interesting to compare 2 years ago with this year. Just give us a sense of some of the areas that they cover. So I guess they're talking about fuel retail, about the convenience store side of things, payment systems, car wash as well. What other areas were there where they were talking about the technology in our industry?
Still, location is important for us as being kind of a physical roadside retailer, but maybe tech is the better new quote. If you do not understand who your customers are, if you do not have access to data, geomarketing data, to really know that each and other location is different. Yeah? And this is something where we go to countries like Japan or something where 50 meters different, the 7-Eleven has a different assortment than the other one. And still one size fits all is in many markets, especially in Europe, still that formula. We think gas, Coke and smoke and a bit more will do it. Yeah. But that's not to really kind of unleash the hyper local sales potential. You have to go into the data, and the data are there. Yeah, there's this old quote: "Data is the new oil." Yeah,
Yeah.
That's really true. Yeah. So and the right and best technology will help to exploit the data, to understand your customer data better. Yeah. To understand their missions better, even if you know where they are, who they are, but they are in a different mission at a different day. When it comes to Germany, for instance, 85% of the customers have their loyal gas station and their roadside retail go-to destination. Yeah? So if you don't know who that is, yeah, and then you have a problem. This is where our industry as a whole has to be better and become more relevant. And because we have that one-stop shop offer, we have the fuel, and we will still have fuel, but we also have EV. We have the EV charging opportunities. People know that we are there for mobility, and so that change into mobility hub, to becoming relevant as a mobility hub. We can't do it alone. We have to join forces. Yeah? And this is something I think that industry is starting to realizing, not comparing and competing too much to each other, rather than becoming more relevant for the customers as a whole industry. And that the enemy, if you so want, is the next door baker, the grocery retailer with that food service format, or the grocery retailer with the EV charging, yeah? Or the grocery retailer with the unmanned fuels side in front. Yeah, so I think there's who wasn't there should be going in 2 years to the UNITI Expo.
That's a great summary of all of the areas to look at. I wonder what people are talking about, certainly when you were at Unity, when it comes to the future. So do you think customer behavior is going to change? What were people saying about the future? I mean, I'm excited about EV, but I know some people are quite worried.
That whole industry is on a transformation journey. Convenience is an attitude. You know, we all have our streaming subscriptions, and who's watching linear television, maybe people over 50, but especially not the younger generation anymore. And people, I think, sometimes overestimate the effect of EV or underestimate the effect of tech. Yes, it will come, but it will not only be the one. Yeah, and if you listen to your customers, and even if you go to Norway, see what's going on there, the most advanced EV market in the world, but if you talk to people, they have their BMW diesel X5 or whatever in their garage. Yeah, so the average mileage, I think, is still 30 kilometers or something. Yeah, in many markets where you even can do it with a hybrid very easily. Yeah, so it really depends. And if you understand your consumer and customers, and I'm a Tesla driver since some years, and I like it very much. That's not a quote many of my friends from the industry really like it. Yeah, but they know that I'm the test case. I cannot charge at home. I cannot charge at work. I'm really relying on that, on the infrastructure. Yeah, and I was in the winter in the Alps. I was in southern France. I was around Europe. Yeah, and it's possible. Yeah? And that Tesla has a great had a great competitive advantage with their infrastructure and their superchargers. Yeah? But as a driver, if I have the choice to go BP Pulse at an Aral site in Germany, or other reliable offers next to a roadside retail professional offer where I can use the shop, especially can use a clean toilet, and have a good reliable solution for when I'm hungry and thirsty when I'm on the move. I stop there and charge rather than going a kilometer distance to the supercharger. I think there was maybe the when people changed from horses to cars, but 100 years ago, that was the beginning of our industry. But now in so many aspects, it's really, really exciting, and I feel very privileged to work in that industry and being part of so many projects in that area.
Listening to you talk, there's so many things you say where I think, oh yeah. So I've definitely passed GridServe in the UK. There's one near me, and thought, oh, that's not for me because I don't drive an electric car yet.
If you're hungry or thirsty, you want a great coffee, and you need to go to the toilet because you're on the move. Yeah, there are no signs, solo caballero, so to say, something that non-EV drivers are not allowed to go there. But of course, it's not in their mind. Yeah, they were focusing on EV, and maybe they have that that communication. And coming to communication and advertising, that whole industry is still very lame, I would say. Yeah. And very much focused rather on their fuels offer or their EV offer or their mobility offer, but they don't understand really the need of the consumer. And when they put something on the consumer in terms of shop offer, then it's price or something, which might be sometimes relevant in promotions. Yeah, but there are so many other aspects, and as that industry was always used that the people have to come to them, they need to understand that in the future there are alternatives. There are many markets, better alternatives if you're hungry, especially when it comes to fresh food, fresh salads and other things. There are much better offers in many cases when it comes to coffee. There are a lot of better offers when it comes to toilets than to going to a gas station or petrol filling station in many markets. And in cold drinks, I think we are very good. It's still a people-driven business, even if we're looking into hybrid solutions, or in some markets like Denmark, 70% of the sites are unmanned. But at many markets, we still have also an advantage to have the people and have that one-stop shop offer, and have car wash, have fuels, have EV, have whatever will come. And we have coffee, and we have salads, and we have tobacco, and we have drinks. So it's really convenient to come to a convenience store here. It's a tough industry. It's about work, detailed hard work, daily hard work on all aspects of the sales ladder. It's on the front line, not an easy job to ask customers for their loyalty app program once they selling their fuel and things like that. Yeah, it's not an easy job. Re-merchandising goods, put everything on the shelf again. Yeah, then organize that with the teams. Yeah, controlling them aspects. Many tough markets with security. We have to support the people who are running the sites better. And if we come with new technologies, and if it's an unmanned shop and you expect the clients, okay, if I go alone into that shop and scan and pay myself, that somebody would say, maybe not. But if I'm in, grab some goats and go. And that's in many markets where they say, that's not my offer. I cannot afford to give the goods away and have that expensive technology on top. So even if it's unmanned, it's sometimes not unmanned. It's the technology could work unmanned, but you need the person to be there to look after the people. Or you have smarter solutions where you can avoid that.
You tend to take your consulting clients on study trips, and I know this is something forecourttech is doing as well. There's going to be a study tour before this year's conference. What are people saying to you? What are your clients saying to you when they go on those study tours? And also, as you travel around, because I know you're a very well-traveled man, what countries or areas are impressing you, and why?
Every time you are somewhere, you learn something. And there are certain nationalities who are more eager and keen when they join study tours or market focus offers. And I've met a guy who was always there in Europe, coming from South Dakota and running 5 truck stops there, and say, what the hell, you always come, what take you home? And we visited him, and he could explain that was 2015, that idea in Berlin, that was 2019 in Shanghai, that he picks one thing and brings it home, and he understands that could be a game changer, and gets better and better. So sometimes it's really the one thing, yeah? And there are other nationalities, and that's especially the Germans. Yeah? Yeah? If they are somewhere, they're looking why that won't work in Germany, and why that only can work in Ireland, in England, in Denmark, in the States, in Asia, wherever I am. And I really have to open up and kind of think, hey, be open to look, and nobody is expecting when you are somewhere that you haven't done your homework. Yeah, this is sometimes it's a mentality problem. Sometimes in some markets, and then, my manager would expect that I already know this. Yeah? If I'm now coming back with that simple idea, yeah, he maybe doesn't believe in me that I'm very good in my job. Yeah? So, and that's retail is stealing shamelessly what you see somewhere else. Yeah? But you also have to understand that. Yeah? So I was on a study tour with a group of a retailer, and they saw a brilliant site in Ireland. And Ireland is the go-to country for food at roadside retail. Fresh food and prepared food, grab-and-go food. And that's really, and as it is an island, it's Northern Ireland and Ireland doing very good job there. Yeah? It's competition, and the competition drives a better solution. Every time I'm there, I see something new, and a new cooperation, and a new collaboration, and a new food idea, and then the next retailer is tying up with another grocery retailer to improve their offer in certain aspects and things like that. So there's always things going on here, and that, coming back to that retailer, they saw a site and they copied it one-on-one on a plot, but the plot was kind of very unusual for a gas station, and they had the normal plot, and they built the site what they have seen on that special plot. Yeah? So it's not only that seeing something, but it's understanding why did the people that, and this is the beautiness on the study tours, especially the market focus tour in Madrid, which is Dan Munford and his team doing this year in front of forecourttech. We were very keen to win him for this, because I'm very much believer in the importance to meet the retailer, to understand, and they will meet Gulp, they will meet Cepsa, they will meet Repsol, they will talk and understand. And if you are next with a colleague from Ireland who runs 200 sites here, and I'm from Germany running my 200 sites, and we're discussing about that offer, it's really improving our understanding of why is somebody doing something, and we can learn a lot. And then, especially if you then have 2 more days with that nice matchmaking conference on forecourttech, you have that discussion, you have that network, and you have that dedicated forecourttech focus on tech and digital. Yeah? And in study tours, you always see interesting things. And I have learned so much always when I was 2 days in a bus sitting next to a manager who's running sites, and can chat with them, and also with suppliers, chatting not in a conference room, but chatting in front of the shelf or the chiller, and discussing and understanding the technology or the product and the needs or the pricings. Yeah, there are so many things to talk through.
I'm a big believer in the study tour format as well. I want to talk to you about the conference, actually. So you're the conference chair for forecourttech. Just tell us a bit about what we can expect this year.
Yeah, we had over the last years very nice demand from the most relevant retailers in Europe and Middle East and Africa already. We get more global interest as well. Yeah, so the retailers really liked to concentrate those 2 days and getting offers and have that matchmaking situation like the speed dating with 15 minutes talking about a topic where they normally would spend a day or something in their calendar, spending an hour in the conference room, and after 5 minutes you say, it's not so relevant, but I don't want to be unpolite. Yeah. So it's really about accelerating the process of seeing the most relevant technology in our market. And even if you're not implementing that at the moment, you see the interest. Yeah, what's on there? Why is it there? To talk to the founders or to the relevant people who can explain the technology, and that starts from very sexy aspects in the industry, like maybe payment processes or everything which is sales and marketing related. But it's also about security. It's also about cybersecurity, very, very important aspects. Although I'm coming from the other side of the desk, if you so want, and I always hated when somebody from IT destroyed my nice idea because it was not feasible. Yeah, but those discussions are needed, and this is what I see as the conference chair, as bringing a very relevant program, impulse session, panel sessions with retailers and suppliers and consultants and the most relevant people from our industry together in a very nice environment, by the way. So the Asia Gardens Hotel. And meanwhile, there are friendships. You see that on other conferences like UNITI Expo. I couldn't go 10 meters, I think, on the sales floor, not running into someone. Stephen was the same with his team. It's a really, really good networking platform. Together with that market focus tours, even more relevant.
Well, I have one final question for you, Christian, which is, from all your travels recently and also at UNITI Expo, what's the one area of technology that you're most excited about for the future? If I was a forecourt operator coming to you, what would you say I should have a look at?
Definitely a solution which is kind of a hybrid solution using robotic cruising as a kind of unmanned secure solution where you can sell without having a person there, but you have a nice tech background that a well thought through process is going on, and you can sell a coffee and you can sell a Coke and even if it's doubled on the shop, but you have kind of a hybrid solution as a store. That would be an area I would look into, because that really kind of gives you the position not to be 24/7 there with expensive stuff, if you have any stuff at all. Gives you more flexibility in your opening hours, but still you have the relevant products at the right time in your offer. This is something I would say that's something what's most exciting for me.
Great answer. Well, Christian, that's all we have time for. I know we're going to see you again at forecourttech in October in the beautiful setting, as you pointed out, of the Asia Gardens Hotel in Alicante in Spain. But for now, thank you so much for coming on the forecourttech podcast.
It was a great pleasure. Thank you for having me.